Hello, my dear family, peace be with you. Today I have brought you the most popular movie called 3096 Tage, which was released in 2013. My family, please help us by liking the video. Without wasting time, let's go to the movie.
Yes!
The movie starts with Natasha Kampusch skiing down a mountain while lost in her thoughts. She stops at the bottom of the hill, and a group of skiers goes by her, showing that she's not by herself. A man comes to a stop next to her, and they look at each other for a moment. He notices the look on her face and leads her to the bathroom, making sure no one else is inside first. It looks like no one is home, so he lets Natasha come in while he waits by the door. Natasha is in her stall when she hears another woman in the bathroom that the man didn't notice at first. She quickly puts on her clothes and nervously walks behind her to the sinks. She checked to see if the man was looking and asked for help. She introduced herself as Natasha Kampusch. Remembering the past, a young Natasha is dancing at the bar with her dad. Her father looks very drunk and raises a glass to make a toast with his friends. The night continues, and Natasha is seen walking alone outside the bar. She tries to tell her dad that it's getting late and that her mom will be worried, but he just laughs and says they'll go soon. The next day, Natasha's mom shouts at her to wake up. Her mom asks her to wear the dress she made, but Natasha thinks it makes her look big. Her mom just tells her not to eat so many cookies, showing that their relationship is not very caring. Natasha wears the dress. Natasha's mom is shouting at her to hurry up because she thinks Natasha will be late for work. Natasha drags herself to the table, showing that she's very tired. After looking at her for a moment, her mom asks her about her dad taking her to the bar. She says in an annoyed way that kids shouldn't be in a bar. She warns Natasha that if her dad brings her home late again, she won't be allowed to see him anymore. Natasha tries to argue, but her mom hits her back. Surprised, Natasha quietly walks away without saying anything and heads to school. Her mom tries to say sorry, but Natasha keeps walking away. Natasha is walking to school by herself. Some kids are playing in a park, but she just walks past them. As she is walking on the street, a man gets out of a white van and pushes her into the car. Natasha calls for help, but no one is around to hear her. He strikes her, making her lose consciousness, and leaves another little girl is standing across the street, shocked by what she just saw. The man brings Natasha to his home, which is enclosed by a fence. He carries her to a small room that only has a sink and a toilet. He locks the door behind him and crawls out of the space in the wall where he has hidden her. Then he closes the wall and the basement, making it seem like the room is all together. Natasha wakes up in a tiny room, unsure of where she is. She tries to yell for help through the door, but nobody is there. She looks at a small air vent in the room for a while before giving up. The man comes back to the room with a bed, some food, and water. She says she wants to see her mom, but he doesn't listen and closes the door on her. Natasha tries to cry for assistance via the room's vent, but no one can hear her. She eventually prepares for bed as it grows late. She calls for her mother as the light goes out and she feels into the darkness. On the third day, the man is contemplating his actions. He carries on with his day as if he hadn't abducted a young girl. Wolfgang reads a story to Natasha about a princess and a pea. She sits in her corner, munching on cookies and listening to the story. When the story is over, he puts in a night light and tries to go, but Natasha stops him. She asks for a goodnight kiss, just like her mom used to give her. He stops for a moment and agrees, giving her a goodnight kiss. Meanwhile, Natasha's mom and grandma are watching the news about their lost daughter. The news reporter says that Natasha's mom has given up hope, but Natasha disagrees. The two people sit nervously together, waiting to hear news about their lost little girl. In the basement, Natasha is pacing back and forth, trying to deal with her boredom. She loses track of time and thinks about what day it is before the light goes out, signaling it's time to sleep. Wolfgang's mom walks around the kitchen, saying what food he will need for the week. She tries to help him with ideas for what to make, but he just playfully jokes with her. She doesn't understand his silly jokes, and they have an uncomfortable conversation. This shows that his relationship with his mom is like Natasha's relationship with hers. Later that night, the two people watch the news together. It's about Natasha going missing and how she was probably taken while she was on her way to school. His mom makes a mean comment about how she might be getting hurt. He says that maybe the kidnapper is just really crazy. One evening, Wolfgang's in the garden, enjoying beverages with his mother and grandmother. When the police come knocking, they ask to see his van, and Wolfgang sheepishly complies. He asks them if this is about the missing girl, and they say yes. They have looked at a number of similar white vans to no avail. Wolfgang's van is now filled with tools and work equipment, as he claims that he used to work in telecommunications. Wolfgang continues to make small talk with the officers as one of them steps over to the secret basement where he keeps Natasha. The two ask where he was on the date of Natasha's disappearance, and he claims that he was home alone. They continue to press him with questions. He answers but quickly changes the subject, offering them beverages. They decline and insist that they must go. Natasha dreams about better and happier times with her parents. She dressed up as her parents lovingly laughed and took pictures of her. She's woken up by Wolfgang with breakfast. She requests a clock so that she can get a sense of time again. He agrees. He also installs an intercom that would allow him to speak with her while he's upstairs. It's day 183. To pass the time, she acts like she is teaching her old clothes as if they are students in a classroom. She also draws on the walls and pretends to talk to her clothes when Wolfgang interrupts her on the intercom. He asks her if she cleaned her teeth and washed her plate. She tells him a lie and says yes. He demands that she has to listen to him and say the words "obey me" again and again on the intercom. For years later, Wolfgang still says the same thing, "obey me," over the intercom. Natasha gets up from her nap and asks him for something to eat. He doesn't feed her often, and this time it's been 3 days since she last had food, so she is very weak and unhealthy. She asks him urgently, but he doesn't care. To take her mind off being hungry, she goes through the garbage and reads. Her room is much busier now. It has a bunk bed, a small heater, and a table in the corner. Day 1695, she's reading a book when she starts her period. Wolfgang comes in and asks her to sew some of his clothes. She tells him to use the shower upstairs, and he says okay but doesn't seem very happy about it. When she leaves her room for the first time, she is amazed by the sunlight coming into the basement. He warns her not to do anything because he has put explosives around the windows and doors if she does. Seeing everything for the first time feels a bit too much for her, but she promises to follow the instructions. She is brought to the bathroom, where she has to shower while he watches her. Later, he takes Natasha upstairs to cut her hair very short. She is sad and crying, and the two spend time together in the kitchen upstairs. Day 1837, it's Christmas, and Natasha has a radio in her room to listen to music. She has a tree and some homemade decorations. She enjoys music while she wraps a gift. Wolfgang brings food, a camera, and a present for her. He tells her that she will sleep with him tonight. That night, he ties their hands together with plastic straps, and they both sleep in the same bed. Meanwhile, Natasha's mom and grandma are spending the holidays together. Her grandma still gives her a present every Christmas, and they both wonder if Natasha will like the pink sweater. Her mother starts crying as she remembers the day Natasha was taken. As time passes, Wolfgang appears to feel more at ease with her. He goes to the store and buys tampons for her and condoms for himself. Later, he's at a club with his friends and starts dancing with a girl. At first, he enjoys it, but then he feels uneasy and decides to leave. Later that night, he takes advantage of Natasha and pressures her into something she did not want. Later, she asks him if she can go to the garden, and he agrees. After a little while in the garden, he gets upset with himself and makes her go back to her room. Day 2029, Natasha's hair is longer now, and Wolfgang makes her do tasks like cooking for him. In the days that follow, he becomes meaner and plays nasty tricks on her, like trapping her in a dark space. Wolfgang finally takes her with him to do some shopping. He tells her a lie that he has a gun and will hurt anyone if she does something. For the first time in years, Natasha is outside in public. She watches regular people going about their lives, not knowing what she is going through. While they are in a store, he briefly leaves her by herself, but she doesn't try to escape. The words, "Obey me," keep playing in her mind, and she can't bring herself to ask for help. In her room, Natasha is listening to the radio when the announcer mentions that it has been 6 years since she went missing. Wolfgang shows her to her new room and names it the Aphrodite Suite. He tells her to wear lingerie, saying it's their wedding day. She asks him why he picked her, and he tells her about the time they looked at each other in a store when she was just a kid. He talks to her about how he created the secret room just for her, and then they get close to each other. Later, she writes on some toilet paper about how he hurt her and puts it in a box. Go back to the scene at the start of the movie. Wolfgang is helping her learn to ski, but her legs are too weak to stay steady. Like at the start of the movie, he stands by the door while she goes to a woman for help. Sadly, the woman doesn't speak English and walks away not knowing what happened. Later, Wolfgang asks her about it, and she tells a lie, saying that nothing happened. He doesn't trust her and then hits her. She adds the beatings to her collection of records, which is now full of papers about the times he hurt her. Day 2908. Today is Natasha's 18th birthday. He buys her an 18-shaped cake and a dress that she puts on right away. The two of them dance to music while Wolfgang shows her how to dance. One day, the two are working in the garden together, and the neighbor sees them from behind a bush. They say a strange hello to each other, but it leads to nothing. They have lunch together, and this time she handles everything well without making them angry. The two have started to live together and get comfortable with each other. One day, Natasha has to clean the van, so she and her friend work together to do it. While she is vacuuming inside, she sees that the gate is open. Wolfgang is no longer being careful around her and leaves her by herself to make a phone call. She takes the chance to escape. Wolfgang returns, but it's too late. She's not there anymore. It's day 3096, and the police are finally here to take her home. Wolfgang takes his own life by lying in front of a train, and Natasha sees her parents again for the first time since she was taken away. She hugs them tightly with a lot of emotion. The movie ends here. Please, my family, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.